again, I want to thank y'all for being here. The reason why I call this news conference is to inform y'all of what happened Saturday night. I made a mistake. I'm human, and I apologize to the citizens of Saline County, because nothing like this will ever happen again. Also, my hat goes off to the Benton Police Department for doing their job. It just goes to show people in Saline County that no one is above the law, not even the sheriff. I take full responsibilities for my action. And, you know, I broke a rule. I will pay my tickets because, number one, I was always raised that if you do something wrong and you get caught, you have to pay the consequences. What my intentions are to do now is to continue to run this sheriff's office, to make it a safe place for all our citizens to live here, raise them here, and go to school. Again, it was a bad judgment call on my behalf and no one else. Although I did text a friend to come pick me up because I wasn't going to drive. But unfortunately, or fortunately, the Benton Police Department arrived on scene first. I wasn't charged with public intoxication. I was charged with breaking the rule of drinking in public and failure to submit to arrest. For those charges, I'm guilty, and I'll pay my fines and we'll go on. But I can reassure the citizens of Saline County, a mistake like this will never happen again because of my poor judgment. You know, at this time, I'll open it up for questions.
Did you drink and drive at all on Saturday night?
No.
And you had no intentions to drink?
No,
and drive
sir.
on Saturday?
No, sir. I've been in law enforcement 40 years, spent 24 years as a state police officer, and no, I would never drink and drive. I wouldn't endanger anyone like that.
Do you plan on taking any time off after this and hiatus at all, or are you going right back on the job? I'm
coming right back to the job. You know, it's one of those things, hey, I made a mistake. I'm human. I'll pay for it, you know, but I'm going to continue. You know, I didn't run for this. I called this news conference because I wanted y'all to hear me, you know, so that's where I'm at.
Sheriff Pennington, couldn't you have texted from inside the restaurant a friend to come pick you up?
Well, I felt that I needed to leave, so I went to my vehicle and texted from there. And no time was a key in the ignition or anything, because if you're intoxicated and you have the keys in the ignition, you can be charged with DWI. And, you know, I wouldn't want to do that at all. I could have just easily had driven off, but I wasn't going to put any public in harm's way.
Then address the belligerents after the police arrived.
Well, you know, if you've been drinking, my ride, the person I had texted, showed up, and I was wanting to go with him. And Lieutenant Castle, dear friend of mine, known him, worked with him for years. He did his job, and I'm proud of him. You know, so that's the reason why that was.
Did they give you a sobriety test?
Oh, no, sir. No.
Have you ever had a charge like this in your past?
I've never had a charge. Well, I did have a speeding ticket one time when I was a trooper. I was coming through Shelby County over Memphis and got a speeding ticket, but that's all I've ever had.
I know you weren't in your right mind, you said, but they did give you an opportunity to call someone to come get you. You say he was already there. Can you tell us what kind of transpired, I guess, when you were trying to leave with him?
I was just belligerent, you know. I couldn't tell you how many DWIs I have arrested in my career, and I've never seen one that was just really happy to be there, you know, and I guess that's probably my frame of mind at the time. I do apologize. Folks, it wasn't anybody that put themselves in this position but me, and I stand accountable for it. You know I do. And nothing like this will ever happen again in my lifetime.
We talked to some residents yesterday, and we explained to them that you were, as soon as you were brought to the police station or shortly afterwards, you were released to go with a friend. We kind of asked people around if they thought that they would have had the same privilege to do that, and a lot of people said no.
Well, I can tell you this, that they were misdemeanor charges. I have personally, in my career, let people have someone come and get them on a misdemeanor. You know, no time did I ask for any preferential treatment, nor did I receive any. I mean, it's an officer's call whether or not to let someone come get you. Like I said, I've done it. Every officer's done it.
And we know they didn't bring you to the jail, but they did hold you for nearly 4 hours at the bench meeting, right?
I don't think it was 4 hours, I'm not sure at the time, I didn't have a watch on. But I had to, and it wasn't a friend that came and got me, it was my nephew, so he had to drive on the other side of Little Rock.
Sheriff, were you with Arkansas State Police in 1997?
I can't remember when I retired.
Can you give me a comment on the investigation that was launched in 97, I believe, against you for?
It was in 96.
96 for
Yes.
drinking and driving on the job?
Yeah, but that was never validated, no, that was false. And the reason why that came about, at the time I was married, and this trooper ended up, my wife left me for him, and so he was trying to do anything and everything he could at the time by making accusations, but there was nothing founded.
There's no penalty that was never validated?
No.
Sheriff, just to confirm, you said there was no breathalyzer administered, anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay.
And I wasn't charged with public intoxication.
Do you believe you have a drinking problem?
No, sir, I do not have. I do not.
Why was it put into the statement that BPD released that you were charged with public intox?
I don't know, but I got the citations and I wasn't charged with that.
Can you say it again, what the official charges were? I'm sorry.
It was drinking in public and failure to submit to arrest. You know, it's not a resisting arrest, it's just kind of like saying, hey, I don't want to go, you know, but I stand accountable for my actions. And again, I do apologize to the citizens of Saline County, and we're going to go forward from here.
So you were not relieved of your duties with the Arkansas State Police?
No. I went through an investigation and was placed on administrative leave, and then I retired, you know, bottom line.
Sheriff, what took you to Denton Saturday night? Was there a celebration, or was there any sort of things going on in your personal life at all?
No, not at all. I had worked in the yard all day, hadn't eaten all day, and I drove by. I thought, well, I'll get something to eat, and they were quite busy, so I had 2 drinks, and that's where I ended up.
So 2 drinks put you in that state?
Well, if you don't drink all the time, and haven't eaten all day, and you worked out in the yard all day, it's just what set it over.
Did you go to dinner alone, or did somebody go with
No.
you and then leave?
No, I was by myself. Any more questions? I do appreciate y'all coming. I just wanted to put this out there. And again, I'm human, made a mistake in judgment, as we all have at some point in time. But being in the position as sheriff in any county, something like this happens, you know, it draws a lot more attention, and I accept that. Anything else? Again, I appreciate y'all. I've got a job to do right after I go cry.